everyone, my name is Titin Wartini. I am a student of Colleen University majoring in English Literature. And in this video, I would like to make a novel review about this novel entitled Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. But before I start the review, I would like to mention a little info about the author. So, Colleen Hoover is #1 New York Times best-selling author of 22 novels and novellas. Hoover's novels fall into the new adult and young adult contemporary romance category as well as psychological thrillers. Okay, now let's move on and start a review. So in this novel, we have Kenna as the main character, Scotty, who is Kenna's previous boyfriend, Ledger, who is Scotty's best friend and will be Kenna's new boyfriend, and last, Diem, who is Kenna's daughter. So this novel, Reminders of Him, is about a mother, which is Kenna, who was just released from prison and back to her hometown after 5 years. Family of anyone she knows in that town. Kenna was only single-handedly forced to return without having someone to rely on and without sufficient finance. She had only a sense of love and convictions that led her to find her child. A child she had never seen before, never even a picture. She had even never heard her child's voice. How is her child cry sound like? And of course, Kenna's process to meet her child was not easy, because Diem was taken care of by the Scottish family, who of course had Kenna for being of cause of her son's death. Cause of Scotty's death. In addition to telling about and showing a mother's love for her daughter, this novel also tells how the main character of this story, Kenna, met a man, which is Ledger, who always helped her and gave Kenna the strength to always survive, and finally can meet them, and finally can tell the truth that she is not 100% the cause of Scotty's death. This novel is kind of unique because the author used the first-person point of view of two characters in this novel. So this novel is divided into two kinds of chapters. There is Kenna's chapter and Ledger's chapter. So in Kenna's chapter, in Kenna's point of view, contains the story of herself and how she travels in search of Diem, and how Kenna's and Ledger's relationship develops. And Kenna's chapter will also tell us the key of the conflict of the novel. This chapter also will tell us the chronological by Scotty's death accidents. And Ledger's point of view, or Ledger chapter, help us to know the situation of the Scottys and their families. Besides this novel has two kinds of point of view. This novel also has no exact setting. The novel does not have a definite setting as presented by the author in the acknowledgement chapter. There is in the end of this book, there is an extra chapter, there is an acknowledged chapter. You can read that. The author mentioned that the reason is because there are a lot of people like Kenna everywhere, in every town, people who feel alone in the world, no matter where they are located. So the author wants the reader to imagine for themselves where the story took place. Although this novel has no exact setting, but there is still also a sign of setting. This novel mentioned about dollar currencies, which is the setting will be in the US or in the uh, American, and also mention American Dream. But actually, this never mentioned about the name of the place. But there are a sign of the sign place. Next is the plot. The plot is pretty good. I mean, I like it. The way author make us confused by mentioning that Kenna just got out of prison, but the author does not mention the reason that Kenna was imprisoned. And why the author makes Ledger and Kenna fall in love with each other in an inappropriate situation, and eventually brings up the challenges they have to face and they need to solve. The way the author describes the innocent DM character that makes us feel more emotional by a child who misses her mother, who wants to know what is her mother look like. And what I like in this novel is the way the author not mention the placement of Scotty's that story at the end of the story also make us curious and wonder why Kenna was able to get to prison. And there is the saddest moment is when Kenna decides to walk away from Ledger and DM's life. And the most touching sentence is Ledger's dialogue. I'm going to be the best person I can be for your daughter. I promise. I'm going to tell her what a wonderful person you are. I'll make sure she grows up knowing how much you love her. Why is this dialogue so touching? Because in the beginning, in the introduction, is after Ledger fall in love with Kenna, but after Ledger know that Kenna is Scotty's ex-girlfriend, which is the cause of Scotty's death. Ledger hates Kenna so much, and Ledger's also not allowed Kenna to meet him. But in this dialogue, Ledger will mention Kenna to DM, and Ledger will tell DM how wonderful Kenna. That is why this scene so touching for me. So overall, I like this novel, and I recommended you guys to read it, especially for everyone who feels lonely, who feels alone and relate with Kenna. I will give rate 9 for this novel. But among of the great point of this novel, I also have one minus point. The deficiency of this novel, in my opinion, is the focus of the novel, which seems to be distracted. So if you look from the synopsis in the back of the book, after serving 5 years in prison for a tragic mistake, Kenna Rowan returns to the town where it all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter, but the bridges Kenna burned are proving impossible to rebuild. Everyone in her daughter's life is determined to shut Kenna out, no matter how hard she works to prove herself. So by this synopsis, I thought that this novel will tell more about Kenna and DM. Will tell more about the process of how Kenna wants to meet DM, what Kenna do, and how much effort does Kenna give to take DM, to meet DM, and to prove herself. But actually, this novel is content more about the love story of Ledger's. So that's all my review about this novel, Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I hope you guys enjoy to read this book and feel the emotion. You can take the lesson from this story. Thank you very much and see you.